Hey there, happy day 1379 of What You Up To Now, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom. I hit the button before I could find a fun filter today. I wanted a fun filter, but I couldn't. Sometimes I hit the wrong buttons when I don't use my magnifying glass. I hit the wrong buttons and then I end up having to just talk. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, documenting the journey as I transition from brick and mortar corporate world of business to the online world of business. A little bit of back and forth and a bunch of other things. 2017, after my divorce, and 48 years owning different and operating different types of businesses in at least 27 different offline industries, while simultaneously spending over a quarter century of that time in corporate America in some of the coolest capacities imaginable. We all have the opportunity to create our careers and our life paths, but I'm not sure that we always realize it. And maybe some of mine happened more haphazardly than it did purposefully, but looking back, it was the perfect mix of experiences for me and who I want to become and what I want to create in the future. And like I said, it didn't always feel like that when I was getting fired or when I was in trouble for breaking the rules or doing something that I wasn't supposed to do according to the corporate culture I was in. But it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about myself and what's important to me, what my priorities are, and the importance of aligning those with the organizations that we align ourselves with. So what are we working on today in the online world? The online world, our idiom today, actually having a cup of coffee today and it's not making me feel terrible. I've kind of really struggled for about the last month. I've had this crazy cold and it's just made me feel meh. And I haven't been drinking coffee or any of the things that I usually do. I haven't been eating right, not foods that make me feel good and nourished, because nothing feels right or is good. But that seems to be changing today. I had a lovely fruit smoothie for breakfast, which I used to have smoothies every day and I kind of fell away from them. And normally in the summer I love smoothies, but this summer I just could not make myself drink smoothies. I wasn't feeling them, and so I'm glad that feeling is past, because normally in the winter when the weather's getting colder I don't like smoothies, but here I go, starting off my day with a smoothie, which is maybe why I can stomach coffee today. So what did we talk about today? In our annual challenge, we talked about character, the importance of character, and that incidents and situations often show or reveal our character and determine our character, but that incidents are also an illustration of our character. I might have needed to X that a little, but today our challenge was to share how an incident determined our character today. And the first thing that popped into my mind with this was, what do you do when nobody's watching? Because that is a perfect example of your character revealing itself to you. It doesn't matter what other people think of your character. It matters who you are, and that you know and understand who you are and what makes up your character, because that's how you want to show up in the world. So what do you do? How do you behave when nobody's looking? I think that's a great question to ask ourselves, at least periodically, if not every day, when stuff comes up and we're like, if cameras were rolling, and nowadays, scary to think, but almost all the time, cameras might be rolling. Cell phones, everybody's walking around with a high-speed deluxe camera around with them, so you never know when somebody might be watching and catch you on film doing something, right? It should give us all pause. Not that we shouldn't just behave in the right way all the time anyway. I'm an avid believer in behave in alignment with your character. If your character is to ignore things and not help and walk away, that's your character. Be okay with it. If your character is to jump in and help, even though you might get in trouble or you might do the wrong thing, that's your character as well. So character was the topic of our annual challenge today. Supersize your business, our idiom. We're doing money idioms for the month of November. I don't know why I just picked a random topic. Last month we did time-related idioms, which was kind of fun. It went along with the Get Up and Go challenge. I don't know how, but I guess it does. Getting up and going and doing things has something to do with time, because we act now. And so this month I decided November's end of the year. Money's on a lot of people's minds with the holidays and everything coming up. So let's talk about money idioms every day. Well, today's was, he who pays or she who pays or whatever, who pays the piper, whoever pays is basically the one that calls the tune or calls the shots. So if I hire somebody to do a job, I feel like I'm entitled to, and I also feel like I get to dictate some of the how and what they do with the time that I'm hiring them to do a certain job. Same is true with studies and in different industries and governments, whoever's paying has a lot more say and influence over the way the study is done, the way the project's done, than maybe the people actually doing the project. It's dictated by the person that's actually paying for it. We see this in industries all the time. I saw it in my corporate career. I participated in some of it. I saw it in my smaller business ownership by different regulatory agencies. And, I had discussions with, I won't say the agencies because I wouldn't want to get the people in trouble, but they said, yeah, big corporations in this industry help us, or actually they give us the guidelines that everybody else needs to follow, which inadvertently gives them a competitive advantage, right? The big guys have big, deep pockets, so they document what they're already doing, and that becomes the regulation for everybody else. And if you're a small player, you have to figure out how to comply, but it is sometimes financially almost impossible to comply and keep up with the regulations that are set forth. Now, I laughed as I was thinking about this one today, because actually our ruling class, our governors, our politicians in the Senates and the Houses of all of our states, as well as our nation, are examples of probably the only people who actually pay the piper, but they don't really pay the piper, but they call the tunes. They call the shots without actually being the ones that pay. They make rules for the rest of us that they don't have to follow. They always make themselves exempt. There's so many examples of that. The more we find out, the more horrifying it is. But it's one of those examples, even in a free country like America, where greed and dishonesty and unethical behavior sneaks in unbeknownst to the majority of us who live good lives and follow the rules. Come to find out that the rules that are being made aren't even being followed by the people that are making those rules. And we've seen so many just in our face examples of that during the COVID pandemic. It's really can be disheartening, but I say keep the faith, be grateful for what is working in your life, and keep moving forward and creating the life and the world that you want to live in. Don't let the negativity and the nonsense that the media and the politicians purport to be true, and we all know it's a lie, don't let that drag you down. Our No Nonsense November, I'm doing that on the Get Up and Go Challenge page, just to kind of keep a conversation rolling there until we head into the December 1st, the December 2021 final 30-day Get Up and Go Challenge for 2021. Will there be any in 2022? I don't know. Depends how 2022 feels. If it feels like 2021, the answer will be yes. But I'm hoping that 2022 shows us some return to sanity and normalcy, and we're not required to do it every other month to keep us moving forward in the direction, despite the negative examples that are out there for us, because it's easy to get sucked into the evil and the negativity and the cheating and the lying and the misrepresentation and the manipulation when we're unaware. But once we think for ourselves and are aware, which was the first of our No Nonsense November, was to think for yourself, it becomes less possible. So today was about gratitude, being grateful for what is. And do you have a gratitude practice? Do you have ways? Because gratitude is actually the secret weapon of most, if not all, successful people. They feel appreciative and thankful for the things that are working in their life, and that's what allows them to create more of them. Does that mean bad things don't happen in their life anymore? No. Look at any famous person and you will know exactly what I'm talking about. They have all of this great fortune. Well, they struggled and worked hard, have all this great fortune, and then a couple of bad things happen, or they make bad choices or mistakes, which reveal their character, their true character, and then they might have a falling out, and then sometimes they come back again, sometimes they don't, just like all of us. So I'm going to nurse my cold a little today. I'm trying to get back to my normal routine and my normal schedule. I'm not trying, I am doing it starting today. But I have a few commitments that I just need to catch up on, and people that I owe things to. Not late, because I'm never late with respect to my commitments, but I want to make sure we're continuing to move forward as we see the end of 2021. And it's pretty soon. It'll be in our rearview mirrors. All right, any questions, any help about offline or online business, hit me up in the comments below. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow. Have an amazing day.